I want to talk to you today about what do you do in seasons of testing when you're in a tough time and you're going through a foggy season or a stormy season or you're in a deep valley. What do you do? And what has been much stretching for you in that? And how do you see God being faithful in the midst? And I have a verse for you today, and it's in James chapter 3. And it says this: the wisdom from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, open to reason, full of mercy and good fruits, impartial and sincere. And a harvest of righteousness is sown in peace by those who make peace. Now, this is in answer to the negative example, which is right above. And it says this in James chapter 3, verse 13. It says, "Who is wise and understanding among you? By his good conduct, let him show his works in the meekness of wisdom. But if you have bitter jealousy and selfish ambition in your hearts, do not boast and be false to the truth. This is not the wisdom that comes down from above. It is earthly, unspiritual, demonic. For where jealousy and selfish ambition exist, there will be disorder in every vile practice." Then verse 17, "But the wisdom from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, open to reason, full of mercy and good fruits, impartial and sincere. And then a harvest of righteousness is sown in peace by those who make peace." Now, by this time, you're thinking, wait, didn't you just ask the question, what do you do in a season of testing? Well, the people that James was writing to, he's writing to Jewish believers. So new believers that were dispersed out because of persecution. And they were forced into difficult circumstances. And they were finding it hard going. And they were trying to survive and thrive in the Christian life. And they were finding it very difficult to basically do what God had commanded them and to stick with the word. And they were they were tempted to cave in. They were also tempted to say things they shouldn't. And this is what happens when you're in a season of testing: to say or do things that you shouldn't do, and because you buckle under the pressure. And so the answer to what do you do when you're stretched in a season of testing, and where maybe there's some unreasonable insistence, even in your own heart, towards an answer that isn't right, towards the earthly or unspiritual, or even demonic wisdom, which is foolishness. What do? And I think this idea of trusting God. Now remember, back in James 1, it says, if you lack wisdom, verse 5, if you lack wisdom, ask God, who gives generously to all without reproach, and it will be given him. What does it say right before that? "Count it all joy, my brothers, when you encounter various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces endurance," or steadfastness, "and let it have its full effect, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. And if you lack wisdom, ask God, who gives generously and to all without reproach." He's not going to say, "Why are you asking me for wisdom?" No, he's going to give you wisdom. And ask in faith. Don't doubt that God will answer this prayer. So then, he's writing to these people and he's telling them that you're being partial, and remember that it needs to be good works. And if you're really saved, and you have to tame the tongue, tame your tongue. In a season of testing, you need to tame your tongue. You need to ask God, "God, give me wisdom so that I don't overshare or overspeak or gossip or slander." And, we talk about sharing a lot, don't we? "Hey, I was just sharing," but you were actually gossiping or slandering. If you're a Christian, when you're doing something wrong and when you're like airing it out just because you want to. But when you're seeking wise counsel, the Proverbs is chock full. Proverbs 15:22, "Without counsel, plans fail, but with many advisors, the abundance of counselors, there is victory," or they succeed. Proverbs 18:13 says, "If one gives an answer before he hears, it's to his folly and shame." Proverbs 18:17 says, "The one who states his case first seems right until the other comes and examines him." So, pruning that God brings in your life and discipline in your life, the tough times in your life, the season of testing, isn't easy to navigate. But we can do this with the wisdom of God and be godly in our speech. The mouth speaks out of that which fills the heart, friends. That's what Jesus said. So ask the Lord. Ask the Lord. What does it say in Psalm? At the end of Psalm 139, that just came to my mind. Search me, O God, verses 23 and 24. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts, and see if there be any grievous way in me, and lead me in the everlasting way. That I need to know, God, you know, but I need to know the truth, and search my heart. And you're with me, and your power, you're leading me in the way everlasting. And so trust the Lord, my friend, when you're going through the time of testing, when you're going through the time when maybe you can't see through the fog, and like on your car, if you have the fog lights. I love it if a car has the feature of the fog lights. In my truck, it's a 2005 Toyota Tundra. I love that truck, and it's got fog lights. And on a foggy night, you turn on the fog lights. Actually, it's on this side. You turn on the fog lights. You know what happens? You can see better, and you trust the Lord to trust the Lord. Let the Word of God be like the fog lights, and trust His wisdom, and trust His strength. And in that time of testing, trust the Lord that He would guard your heart and your word.